No, again. Every so often, somebody commenting here says something so shocking that I'm forced to pause and take thought for a while before responding to what has been said. This happened yesterday, and I shall return to the point shortly. Before doing so, I wonder what viewers thought of the thumbnail to this video. It shows a member of the Nazi Department for Racial Hygiene in the 1930s measuring the facial proportions of an old guy living in a gypsy camp. You see, it was thought that by measuring the width and length of the head, size of the nose, distance between the eyes, and so on, it was possible to decide precisely into which racial category a person should be placed, whether Aryan or Jew, Gypsy or Slav. Mad, eh? I need hardly say that this is all complete nonsense, and nobody in his or her senses believes that such a thing is possible. Well, having said that, some people in this country working at our universities do believe in this ghastly pseudoscience and are even now measuring skulls and placing them in various, to them, well-defined racial groups. Which universities, you ask? Well, Reading, for one. This is being done by, well, I would say left-wing and progressive types in the promotion of what they see as anti-racism. I've written a fairly long and detailed article about this on my Substack account, and I give a link to it in the description to this video. It's free to read. This is one way in which Nazi ideas are being used by modern academics in the furtherance of a left-wing agenda. Yesterday, I posted a video here about home education as opposed to learning at school. It was, in other words, purely about education. A person called Simon Millington commented here. He often comments, and he said something truly chilling. He thought that the good thing about schools is not that they provide a better education than can be provided by parents at home, but rather that they remove children from the influence of parents who might hold what he sees as unacceptable views. He thought that home education might be hazardous because children would spend too much time with their parents and we couldn't be sure what political views of the parents were, and that this might be bad for children. They would, he thought, be safer at school so they could be kept in the keeping of the state rather than being cared for by their parents. I was quite taken aback by this line of reasoning. To me, schools are educational establishments, and home education is also a form of education. And the only question should be which method is more effective? For Simon Millington, and to be fair to him, many other progressive types, education is irrelevant. It is a desire to keep children in the care of the state, which is the main objection to home education. Home education was, of course, illegal in Nazi Germany for this very reason. It's still illegal in Germany because the state worried that children's parents might not hold the correct views and could teach their children wrong ideas. Far better to have them at school or in the youth or the young German maidens so that the state could teach them the best way of thinking. The less influence that their parents had and the less time they spent with their parents, the better. I have seen this particular argument against home education used a great deal in this country, almost always by left-wing and progressive types. Like the Nazis, they are keen to see the state become the main parent and guardian of children because they feel parents cannot be trusted to teach their kids the right values. I have never heard a left-wing person criticize home education simply on the grounds of education. It is always done as on the grounds of being socially and politically desirable. Here, then, are two very different elements of Nazi ideology as they relate to race and education, which have somehow crept into modern Britain